You wanted more reassurance that the Democrat isn't going to go along with every aggressively anti-common sense idea that comes out of the woke mind virus, which, yes, is a thing. And if she loses, that will be mainly why. And part of that mind virus is progressivophobia, Steven Pinker's term for the liberal fear of ever admitting when things are actually good. But undecideds don't get that message because Democrats can't make the words, "things aren't so bad," ever come out of their mouths, lest someone somewhere accuse them of not caring enough about people who are struggling. But even in a good economy, some segment of society will always struggle with money, mostly liberal arts majors.
Maher delivers a sharp, on-air critique of Democrats, pushing back against what he sees as overly dramatic political narratives. He challenges the idea that America is on the brink of collapse or that recent elections sent the country decades backward. According to Maher, this framing distorts reality, and he says he's stepping in to offer a course correction. The segment moves quickly and pulls no punches, setting the tone for a fast-paced and provocative discussion. Stay tuned, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more clips like this.
The election is in the hands of a small cohort of undecided voters, those curious few bisexuals of the political world. Everybody loves to mock, but I see it as more of a personality thing. I call them the Christmas Eve shoppers of politics. They know the big day is coming, but they just can't get themselves to do anything about it until the last minute. My father was that guy with Christmas. He would do all his Christmas shopping on Christmas Eve night, an hour before the stores closed. He would go to a single department store with no idea what he was going to get. But that's why a department store is great. Oh, look, toys. I got kids. They like toys. Done.
Maher begins by focusing on a group he says is routinely ignored in political conversations: undecided voters. These are people who don't comfortably fit into either the Democratic or Republican camps. He compares them to last-minute holiday shoppers, hard to predict, easy to overlook, but ultimately decisive. Maher argues these voters aren't driven by party loyalty or online outrage. Instead, they're practical, tired of extremes, and worn down by constant political drama. He suggests Democrats often make a strategic mistake by catering to a loud but limited activist base, confusing noise for numbers. Winning elections, he says, depends on appealing to the quieter voters still making up their minds.
He was a great gift giver because he felt you had to be fully in the Christmas spirit to go Christmas shopping, and being in the store at that hour with Santa and the music and the tree and the whole production going on, it served as kind of a muse for picking presents, and I think there are people who feel the same way about the voting booth. So let me have a word with them. Hi, Christmas Eve voter. Look, you obviously don't like Trump, or you'd be in that camp already, but you're still torn. And I'm the guy who keeps saying, I get why. You wanted more reassurance that the Democrat isn't going to go along with every aggressively anti-common sense idea that comes out of the woke mind virus, which, yes, is a thing. And if she loses, that will be mainly why.
According to Maher, many undecided voters aren't unsure because they lack information. They're undecided intentionally. He believes their hesitation reflects growing discomfort with the direction of the modern left. What was once seen as grounded in reason and evidence now appears, to them, increasingly disconnected from everyday logic. Certain ideas are elevated beyond debate, while basic questions are treated as unacceptable. Maher insists these voters aren't secretly aligned with conservatives. They're simply frustrated by ideological rigidity and cultural pressure. Feeling talked down to or dismissed for expressing doubt, they remain politically uncommitted, waiting for leadership that values facts, open discussion, and workable solutions.
And part of that mind virus is progressivophobia, Steven Pinker's term for the liberal fear of ever admitting when things are actually good. As The Economist puts it about America today, an economy with an unemployment rate of 4% and a per-person GDP of $85,000 does not have to be made great again. It is great.
Maher argues this dissatisfaction is especially visible within Democratic politics, which often seems perpetually dissatisfied no matter how much progress is made. Victories are rarely treated as milestones. Instead, they become stepping stones to new demands. Achievements once celebrated are quickly reframed as insufficient. In that process, Maher says, common sense is often sidelined or labeled outdated. He points to the successful push for gay rights as a major accomplishment that achieved broad acceptance. Yet rather than consolidating that progress, the focus quickly shifted to more contentious cultural debates, including issues around gender policy and fairness in sports. For many voters, this raises an unanswered question. Where is the stopping point?
And yet, the economy is the Christmas Eve voters' other big issue, and they think it's terrible, when actually it's bigger and better than ever. Makes Arnold Palmer's look like nothing. When we were coming out of the pandemic, every economist predicted we were headed for a recession and all the horrible things that come with it. But much like Trump's girlfriends,
Maher believes this critique resonates because the left frequently frames issues with intense urgency. Problems of varying scale are often presented as immediate crises, and disagreements are treated as emergencies. He argues this tendency inflates smaller issues into sweeping moral conflicts. He references climate discussions as an example, noting the frequent use of dire, apocalyptic language. While environmental challenges are real, he says constant worst-case framing limits nuance and discourages balanced conversation. He sees a similar pattern across social issues, where progress is minimized and society is portrayed as worse off than before. Maher counters that many indicators suggest meaningful improvement and argues that outrage-driven messaging often replaces perspective.
the truth about America today, what Democrats should have been selling is everything that should be low and down is. Unemployment, low. Black unemployment, low. Poverty rate, low. Gas prices, down. And everything that should be up and high is. Manufacturing, real wages, the stock market, personal spending, personal savings, oil production. The U.S. now produces more energy than it uses, which is saying something since we have Las Vegas.
Maher points to data that, in his view, tells a more optimistic story about the country's condition. He references statistics shown during the segment that contrast sharply with narratives of decline. Those figures suggest reductions in poverty, low unemployment, and energy costs that remain manageable for many households. The broader economy, he says, has shown resilience, with steady growth and stable consumer confidence despite global uncertainty. Yet Maher argues these gains are rarely emphasized in left-leaning discourse, which often prioritizes crisis framing. His point is simple. Acknowledging positive trends doesn't mean ignoring problems. Denying progress, he says, weakens credibility when the data shows otherwise.
Here on Earth One, it's not actually like that. The vast majority of Americans make it to the Piggly Wiggly and back alive. Yes, everything at the dollar store costs $1.50 now, but Biden didn't invent food costs money. And what caused the inflation was shutting the entire country down and paying everyone $6 trillion to stay home because a bad flu was going around. And Trump and Biden both did that. Everybody took the money, and I don't see anyone in this crowd handing back the checks. But who brought inflation down further and faster than any other country? The United States.
Maher acknowledges that the COVID period was one of the most disruptive times in recent history, reshaping daily life and straining the economy. Businesses shut down, jobs vanished, and uncertainty dominated. Even so, he emphasizes that the country adapted and recovered. Supply chains stabilized, employment rebounded, and industries adjusted to new realities. This recovery, Maher argues, is evidence of resilience. The country didn't collapse, it adjusted. For that reason, he says progress shouldn't be viewed with suspicion. Recognizing recovery doesn't erase hardship, but it does show that improvement is possible and worth acknowledging rather than downplaying.
Phrase I hear so much that makes me just want to unalive myself is, how's she going to help me? Like the president is your personal genie. It's Kamala, not Kazam. And it's a government, not an insurance company. I don't know if Kamala worked at McDonald's, but she's not Flo from Progressive.
If this segment was intended as a defense of Kamala Harris, it comes across as unfocused. In making his argument, Maher instead highlights the tangible outcomes of the Biden administration's policies, including economic recovery and job growth. Those examples complicate his point. If the claim is that Harris isn't meant to serve as a safeguard for struggling Americans, then the evidence he cites suggests government action has, in fact, helped people navigate difficult circumstances. Rather than clarifying Harris's role, the segment introduces mixed messages, leaving viewers uncertain about the intended conclusion.
You think you're living in the Second Great Depression because you can't buy a full foot of sandwich for $5? Maybe you're not looking at the actual numbers. Maybe your hat's too tight. And undecideds, you should be voting Harris because of the economy. But undecideds don't get that message because Democrats can't make the words, "Things aren't so bad," ever come out of their mouth.
Maher argues that Democrats' reliance on crisis-focused messaging may be undermining their ability to connect with voters. Constantly framing the nation as being on the edge of disaster makes it difficult to present a positive vision. Even when accomplishments are mentioned, the surrounding tone of alarm can diminish their impact, especially among undecided voters who are wary of exaggeration. Maher also suggests the party spends too much time attacking Donald Trump and distancing itself from his supporters, rather than addressing the concerns of those still undecided. While that strategy energizes a committed base, it does little to persuade the middle.
But even in a good economy, some segment of society will always struggle with money, mostly liberal arts majors. And so, dear Christmas Eve voter, I say to you, things aren't that bad, but they might get a hell of a lot worse under the rule of a mad king. Do I love everything about Kamala? No. Who told you you get to love everything? Do I wish she came up with a better reason to be president than "I'm not Trump"? Yeah, it would have been very helpful. But let's not forget, "I'm not Trump" is still a really great reason.
Maher's overall message is direct. America, he argues, is not in the dire condition it's often described to be. Undecided voters are turned off by extreme language, rigid ideology, and constant crisis framing. They aren't defined by party loyalty. They value practicality, evidence, and results. By prioritizing a vocal fringe and amplifying every issue, Democrats risk pushing away the voters who ultimately decide elections. From post-pandemic recovery to measurable economic gains, Maher says progress deserves acknowledgement. His conclusion is straightforward. Fear-based narratives and inflexible thinking aren't persuasive. Clear reasoning, realistic solutions, and tangible results are what earn trust. That brings us to the end of today's video. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.